Ladies and gentlemen, he has done it again. Donald Trump has stoked another row with his latest comments, questioning his Democrat rival Kamala Harris's mixed racial identity. During an interview with the National Association of Black Journalists Convention in Chicago, the former president said she was always Indian and happened to turn black a few years ago. He also went on to call himself as the best president for the black community since Abraham Lincoln. Take a look at what he said.
I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much, and she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black? I have answered the question. I have been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln.
Now, Kamala Harris was quick to respond. She retorted that the American people deserve better than Donald Trump's divisiveness and disrespect.
And it was the same old show. The divisiveness and the disrespect. And let me just say, the American people deserve better. The American people deserve better. The American people deserve a leader who tells the truth, a leader who does not respond with hostility and anger when confronted with the facts.
In fact, Trump's remarks also invited condemnation from the White House, with the press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, terming them as repulsive and insulting. In 2020, remember, Kamala Harris had made history in the United States by becoming the only black and Asian American vice president. Before I open this up for discussion, take a look at this special report from the Tamil Nadu village that Kamala Harris hails from.
Sendirapuram, a small village in Tiruvur district of Tamil Nadu, is adorned with posters and banners of Kamala Harris, the Vice President of the United States. The local Dharmasastha temple witnesses prayers through the day, hoping for her win. In 2021, when Kamala became the first woman VP of the US, the Tulasinduram village burst into celebrations with rangolis, posters, banners, and Annadana. People from the Tulasendirapuram village believe that she would prove to be a strong competitor against Donald Trump.
If she becomes, each and every citizen in this village will be very happy because she is connected with this village in one way or the other.
With Kamala Harris's Indian origin taking center stage in her campaign, whether it works in her favor or not is a wait-and-watch game in the race to the White House.
We believe in a future where every person has the opportunity.
Bureau Report, Mirror Now.
Where every senior can retire with dignity.
All right, on the show tonight, I'm joined by Rohit Sharma. He's an Indian journalist based in Washington, D.C. He covers the White House. I'm also joined by Vibhuti Jha, former Republican candidate for New York Assembly. Good evening and namaskar to both of you. Rohit, let me start with you. Doesn't this seem like a very deja vu moment with Donald Trump questioning the credentials of a black candidate? Something which also came to be known as birtherism at the time of President Barack Obama, where he was constantly questioning his credentials and kept saying that he's not born in the United States?
Well, look, I think President Trump has been known to make statements that take away or attention from the pressing issues, and I think this is one of those things. I mean, he was speaking to black journalists. And I think he probably, wanted to sort of take away the attention from his vice president candidate, J.D. Vance. His polling has fallen. We've seen some outrageous comments from J.D. Vance, and I think he wanted to change the narrative, so to say. So I think you use that platform to put another controversy at the center of this campaign. And look, President Trump, obviously, as you stated, was very aggressive with President Obama back in 2012 and talked about birther and whatnot. And we've all seen, that side of President Trump. But the fact of the matter is, she's erased Trump's lead in key demographic, including Black and African Americans and Hispanics. And I think he's taken a note of that. And he wanted to sort of speak to Black journalists and a Black audience about, how he feels that she may or may not even be an African American, which is not a reality. So, I mean, again, this is politics at play. We should take it with a pinch of salt. But again, I think what he's done is in the last 12, 24 hours is his sort of set up a new narrative and brought a new equation into this campaign.
Sure. Vibhuti Jha, do you resonate with that? Why is Donald Trump not talking about the real issues? Why isn't he countering Kamala Harris on, say, the abortion issue? Why isn't he talking about gun control laws or the cost of living crisis? Instead, he goes on and questions her ethnicity, her roots.
It's not, thank you, Shreya, for having me over here. I resonate with Rohit on some of the issues. Yes, does Trump have to say this? Because this is a political season. You and I, all of us know that in the political campaign, rhetorics go out of the roof and people say whatever they have to say. But one thing which I want to say, the Republican Party has been very strong on issues where they are missing out is on emotional content of the campaign. So Republicans know the issues are on their side. The Democrats are trying to deflect the issue on emotion. Think about it, and it is not far from the truth that you have probably dealt with in the past. Freedom, democracy, future. These are words which you can always talk about ad infinitum, right? But the issues is actually the Democratic Party is avoiding the issues, if you think about it from that point of view. But Kamala Harris, Emhoff, if I may add that, has an issue here, has a challenge here, because this America is a remarkably multi-ethnic, multiracial society. Everybody is a foreigner here. And if you look at the marriage lists going on, Blacks marrying Chinese, Blacks marrying white, Indians marrying in various other communities and religions. So this United States is probably creating a future universal soldier because people will have no ethnicity of their own. Blacks and Chinese, will you call them Blackinese? Indians and Jews, will you call them Hindus? So these are issues which are very critical in this campaign. Insofar as Kamala Harris is concerned, did Trump need to say that? But in 2016, Trump did not cause a racial slur. He was only making an inquiry. Please listen to that very carefully. He was attacked by the journalists. You and I are journalists here. Are we being fair to the issues the way it needs to be? That's something which is very crazy in America as of now. Trump is the evil, destroy him.
What do you say to this then? What do you say to his latest remarks then, Vibhuti Jha, where he's saying that, she's always flaunted her Indian heritage, but she just turned Black a few years ago? Isn't that questioning her roots? Isn't that questioning something that she's talked about earlier as well?
There is no questioning of anybody's roots in America because everybody knows that they are foreigners here. The question is, where do you relate to? I'm relating to Indian heritage, never said no to that. I'm not saying I'm Bihari, I'm saying I'm Indian heritage. The question here is very simple. Kamala Harris has a problem. And that problem is nobody's talking about it. Her mother is a Brahmin. In her birth certificate, it is written there she's Caucasian, right? And her father was a communist, grandfathers being slave owners, and Jamaican, not actually black here. But in 2016, she was touted as the first Indian American to be the senator, and 2020 campaign, she claimed that she was Black. Remember the politics of it. Indian votes do not matter in the 2024 election, in presidential and vice presidential election. Black votes matter. So you align yourself with a particular agenda. In this particular
interview, which is what I was coming to next, Vibhuti Jha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just the fact that he's brought up this issue, Rohit, The fact that he's also gone on to say that I have been the best president for the black community since Abraham Lincoln. Is that something that is coming out of the fact that Donald Trump is trailing behind Kamala Harris, specifically in the swing states, at least for in the polls right now? And swing states, I have some numbers with me. For example, Georgia, black Americans account for a third of eligible voters there. In 2020, you had 92% of the black non-Hispanic voters vote for the Democrats, and only 8% went with the Republicans. You have, the black voters overall tend to be younger than the overall American voters. Clearly, that is a significant vote bank that Trump wants to, reach out to, wants to woo.
I think when we were speaking about Joe Biden as a candidate, he had a very thin path to the White House, right? I mean, what Kamala Harris has done, and she's put some more states into play, like Arizona and Georgia, right? And rightly so. So there definitely is that understanding of he needs to get those black voters out, or at least put doubts in the mind of those black voters. I mean, why would he even say that she's not African American, right? I mean, but look, the fact of the matter is, I think most people do understand that she grew up in a black neighborhood. Her mother raised her as black women. I mean, she's talked about it. At a time when she was raised in America, there was civil rights going on. I mean, there's so many things. So I think it's inappropriate for President Trump to say what he did. What Vice President Kamala Harris has done since is she's also acknowledged her Indian roots, and which she should. And to Vibhuti Jha's point, I mean, at the end of the day, Indian voters may or may not matter as much as the African voters do. But one quick point, in addition to that, is the Indian money does count. There are a lot of Indian people who are big time donors for Democrats, and she does want to appeal to those. So I think she has to play this act. But again, I think in her heart, I think she knows she's an African American. She was raised in an African American community. She went to a historic black college. And she's always wore her heart on the sleeve and always said that she's a strong African American woman.
Okay. I want to ask this question to the both of you, since you are Indian origin people living in the United States. Just the fact that what worked for Kamala Harris back when she was chosen as the vice president by Joe Biden was her ethnicity, was her mixed racial identity. Is that now going against her somewhere? Indians there in the United States feel that she's not Indian enough. The Africans say she's not African, she's Jamaican. The white Americans say, we've got Donald Trump, why should we choose her? Is there some sort of, identity crisis that is working against her this time around? Vibhuti Jha, would you like to go first?
That's a brilliant question. You are absolutely right, Shreya, on this one, because unless and until you identify yourself as such, she has a problem with her base, as Rohitji was talking about earlier on, but she's not clear whether she's black or Indian. She has, with actress Mindy on a video only recently, she said, I'm an Indian American.
Yeah.
So the question is that when you confuse your own identity, there's nothing wrong in being who you are. That's what is important. Just be clear about who you are.
In fact, she was with Mindy last time around as well, making dosas, if you remember.
Yeah, that's right. So that's what I'm trying to say. You be whatever you are. I mean, there's nothing wrong in being ABC or whatever. The issue here is that she has a base problem with her base, because her base doesn't like Hindus and Brahmins. Her mother was a Brahmin. Her father is not black, actually Jamaican. Her husband is a Jewish guy, Emhoff. She never mentions about that part at all. So the issue here is very important, that she has to identify herself and say, this is who I am, which is not, she's not doing it smartly as yet. Therefore, the question, as they say in politics, in campaign season, rhetorics go through the roof and people are willing to challenge you on everything, just as Trump is being challenged for everything that he says. He says, whatever he says, he is damned. If he doesn't say, he is damned. So he knows that ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, all are against him, and they will be vicious. So he has taken a position, rightfully or wrongfully, it is his call, that he will confront the media the way it is. I know you are going to attack me. I'm going to attack you back.
Okay.
I'm not going to be unnecessarily too polite. So whether he is the best president for blacks is out for history to know. But one thing is very important. Both presidents, Trump and Joe Biden era, the record is right out in the open, because in his 2016 campaign, he had told the blacks that you 80% or 90% of you vote Democrat. Come, what is your situation today? Try me. I'm not that bad. What are you going to lose? And that resulted in a lot of people looking at it from this point of view. He did give a lot of money to black-run colleges. He did do a lot of things for the blacks. He has never been anti-black. And you can see that record. So at the moment, the media is the biggest villain, the way the words are quoted and words are presented. And that's what is for you and I to discern and comment
quickly
upon.
also let me get in Rohit on this. Rohit, would you like to come in on how identity is playing out for Kamala Harris this time around?
Well, I think, it's definitely is a talking point in this campaign. I think you asked a very important question, which is about, Indians getting upset over, her Indianness, and, African Americans getting upset about her being African American. Look, she grew up in America. She's embraced all these identities. People forget that she was elected as a senator in California. She served as an attorney general in California. I mean, she has the credentials to be where she is. I think from her perspective, she would want this election to be about her policies and her record versus just her identity. The Republicans do know for a fact that if they make this case about her origin and what she stands for, as a person or her background, they may buy some brawny points from some of the people. But at the end of the day, this election would not be decided by her heritage. It would be decided by what she stands for and what people see in her versus what they see in Donald Trump. The rhetoric will continue for some time. But I mean, I think at the end of the day, the biggest hurdle for her to go to the White House is that America has never elected a female president, and she needs to fight for that.
Okay, all right. We'll leave it there. Let's see how this moves forward, how this pans out in the November elections. But one thing is for sure, here in India, everybody's celebrating just the fact that Kamala Harris is in the race. You've got posters and prayers in her village, in her maternal village, Tamil Nadu. So let's see how that moves forward. But thank you very much to both of you, Rohit and Vibhuti Jha. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us on your show tonight and sharing your perspectives.
Will you allow me to say something very interesting?
Yeah, quickly.
Somebody else told me.
Quickly, Vibhuti Ji, quickly.
Yeah. Whether you agree or not, Usha and Kamala, two Sanskrit words, Hindi words, Nari Shakti is playing a role in American elections.
Okay, we'll take Nari Shakti as well in this entire White House race. Thank you very much to both of you for joining us tonight and sharing your perspective. Thank you very much.